This could be my personal best snapper. This could be my best snapper ever. First cast, new spot. One thing that I think a lot of anglers get wrong is that they blame the tide change for not catching any snapper. And yes, the tide change is definitely one of the important factors, but the tide change today will not be everything. There are also multiple factors and tips that I'm going to share with you during this episode to increase your snapper catch rate. So one of the first things you do before you actually get to where you want to fish for snapper, regardless of tide change or anything like that, is you check your drift. So I'm probably a kilometre or two away from my spot in the same depth, similar area. And I'm just gonna make sure I know my drift line so then I can plan where I'm going to be drifting. So I'm going straight south, heading probably southeast. Really easy to know. And then I also can zoom in on my sounder and pick that line. All right. I only get there's a couple of marks I've got here. I might just have a little cast. I've got to change the plastic on this because it's a bit wrecked. So I'll quickly change this plastic and we might have a couple of casts, eh? I might also have to get a heavier head. That's 1/4 ounce at the moment, but we'll see. Baby bass, bait junkie, favourite colour. Change over to that. Let's have a quick little cast. Ooh. Right, first little drift. No real bites, nothing really going on. We're just going to move to where I mainly want to drift, but I just thought there's a couple marks there. We might as well fish it while we're here. So now we go to the real spot. That was too easy, that. Trevally. A big school of fish. I think they're kings, I'm not gonna lie. Get you out. I might just quickly drop that down. That looks like a big school of kings. A little like streak is like, yeah, very king looking. So after that uneventful session with no tide change in the morning, it was back to the drawing board to see if we could change our luck. Alright, a bit of an overcast morning. I'm going to head out to the inshore reefs here off the hacking and target a snapper. Let's go. I just wanna be with you. I always wanna be with you, my love. Babe, I got a lonely heart. So we normally just slow down now. We are a couple of 100 meters, if not maybe half a K away from where I normally would start to fish with, you know. So good thing to do while I zoom out right now is, right before you go fishing, especially when you go fishing for, you know, snapper offshore, is a really good plan as to how you are going to approach each spot that you go to at a certain part throughout the day. Obviously that could change, but especially for that first spot, where are you most likely going to drift? So we've got a northwest breeze. It's going to come over my left shoulder here and go straight through the camera there, as you see, and I'm going to pitch my boat perfectly in that spot to be able to hopefully drift in that direction, which is with the wind. Normally offshore, you either drift with the current, that's way further out normally, but for the majority of the time here, it might be, we probably will be with the wind. But it's only a very light breeze, so we'll just see. At the moment it says we're drifting at about 1.5 k's, which is nice, but I don't know, we'll see. Got some nice arches down there in 11 meters, 12 meters. Let's clean that screen up a bit for myself. You guys probably can't see that, but we just sort of, you know, cast, check the drift, get the placky out, and have a fish. So start in the morning, I've got a 1/6 ounce 5-inch jerk shad in white glow. I love this one for early morning, white glow. Just give it a little cast out, won't go too far. And I don't even like to let that sink, I just sit in the rod holder like that just to see the direction it's going to take you. Obviously I also, we zoom in on the map, really far I can see a rough, small idea of how it's going to go. Most likely we're going to drift with the wind, which is a nor'wester. Okay. Northwesterly drift. Let's go head to some more viable ground. Like I said, move a couple 100 meters up to where I want to start my drift. Yeah, first cast. Woohoo! First casts. Man, they whack it. Let's back that drag off a bit now. Take my time now. Got him off the reef. No point rushing it. It's the right colour, I hope. I thought I saw a nice blue hue of him. Yeah. It's a nice one, man. And that's a great shallow water snapper. First cast, come on! Woo-hoo-hoo! Woo, man! I just want to quickly get the hook out of this guy so I can cast that out again. Because you just never know, there could be more there. I'm gonna cast it out soon. and then I'll show you. So, what a start to the morning, late 40s, fish 48, 49, cannot beat that. Shallow water snapper off Sydney, first bloody cast. Woo-hoo! Yeah. Another one. I think it's a big one. On the slow lift, and look behind us, man. Beautiful sunrise. Look at that. It's a Sergeant Baker, but still a fish. See, mate? So, unlike the last episode where we looked to see if the tide change was a big thing, today we have a tide change at 8:30. We also have a moon rise at about 6:50, so we're heading up to the moon rise right now. We've also, we've got a moon set at about 6:50, and right now we've got a sunrise at about 6:30 as well. So it's moon set 6:50 a.m, moon rise 6:30, and a tide change at 8:30. So I'll pretty much fish for snapper all the way to about, I don't know, 8:30, just depending on how busy it gets. These sort of reefs, and if I have to move around and stuff like that, and whether they're still biting. So a couple fish in this first drift. Obviously I would like to go back over the similar line. Won't necessarily be the exact line, but the similar line, pretty close. What I will plan to do is I won't go over where I could possibly drift further on down in, like, let's say an hour and a half from now. So I'll head back towards the beach, I guess is the easiest way I can explain it to you guys. Head back towards the beach and wrap around that way, and then come back out and just go a little bit further up, because what you don't want to do is, if I'm drifting out towards the ocean, I don't want to then turn around and restart my drift and go run over all the ground that I'm going to be fishing in the future. All right, let's move and start this drift again. Might even take my waders off because it's nice and warm this morning. Cast this out, back at the start of the drift. So I just missed the drift a little bit just then, and I noticed straight away after the first couple of casts I've missed this drift. I'm going to reposition by about 50 meters and go again. Rock cod probably. Big paper bag coming up, no real fight. Most likely a rocky. Yep. Big thing about rockies is do not touch their spines. If you are going to grip them, you lip grip them. Little rocky, scorpion fish, poor man's lobster. Not the fish we're looking for, let's call it that. Big thing you might see is I don't do like big jerks when fishing for snapper. I more do it like a slow pitch jig style, so twist, twist, twist and wind with it. I also do like one big lift occasionally and just let it sink back down. Don't wind, let all the slack line go, and let it sink back down, and then try and see if a snapper will come along. But, oh, a fish came along. I don't think it's a snapper, I'll be honest. Feels like a bonito. The idea of like the whole like big lift and drop down is to like sort of reset that slowly sinking rate from your cast. So, but pretty confident this is a bonnie or some kind of livey. Oh, it's a Samson fish, like an amberjack. God, we are getting some different species today. He's a little fella. Yeah, another fish. Oh, wasn't a big one. Jesus. Yeah, I think it's the, I think there's a game fishing tournament going on, guys. Have a look at this. You guys probably cannot see that, but there are about 60 odd game fishing boats going full tilt out. I see annual game fishing day. There's a lot of fuel being burnt there. Jesus. Something smacked it. What is it? King? What is this? Oh, it's a huge king. Rainbow runner. That's a huge one there. Never caught one of these before. Look at that. Little rainbow runner. It's a rare catch, I would say. Very cool. Very interesting. Anyway, put him back. See you, mate. Bang. Twist. Gave it a couple of tweaks. Someone came along and whacked it. Sergeant Baker, he wanted it. Right, rainbow runner, Sergeant Baker. Let's try and get a snapper, hey? All right, back into that drift. Nice rainbow runner, a couple of bakers and I think a rock cod. So move the drift up a little bit further and go from there. All right, I haven't had a hit from a snapper for a while. I might give this lure one more cast. And if I don't get much interest, yeah, I've had interest from other fish and stuff, but I also, that white glow I often use in low light because that sun is just about to go up a bit higher. Well, it's not, you know, it's behind a heap of clouds and stuff, but because it's about to go up over those clouds, I might switch to the pilchard glow in the 5-inch bait junkie range. Then I might go to baby bass after that. Baby bass is my favorite one, but ooh, not good. Retie. Okay, perfect timing to change lure, I guess. Pop my FG. Forgot to not put it through the guides. Yeah, first cast on the new one. I was gonna say, I like the look of the sounder for anything but a snapper, and I actually don't think it's a snapper, but I think it's like a bonnie or something. But first cast for that new Placky. Come on. Up he come. Oh. There, Bonnie. There we go. God, they go into bunter, the old bonnies. Nice little bonnie. Nothing too big or special, but a bit of fun. All right, couple more casts at this sort of drift, and I guess this spot as well. Going to make a move to another reef and fish the last half an hour into that sort of tide change at the other spot. See if we can't get a snapper there. One at that sunrise first cast. Some people say getting a good fish first cast is actually bad luck. Might be. It might be. So using the 1/6 ounce jig head today is a really good one to use. Like I normally use 1/4 ounce, and I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna try the 1/6 ounce today and let it really slowly sink, and my catch rate has definitely increased. I'm using 20-pound braid, 20-pound leader as well. Got the Daiwa TD Hyper MHFS. It's a 7-foot rod, 4,000 crossbar reel, 20-pound braid on it as well. So really light, shallow water, great snapper sort of setup. I really like fishing snapper, fishing for snapper on plastics is very different to like fishing for flathead, say, on a drop off where you're really working it down that edge. With snapper, it's kind of like, you know, if you anchor up, belly up and you're floating pilchards down a trail. You're sort of doing the same thing with your soft plastic. So cast out as far as you can, let it drift to the point when it's below the boat. Once it's below the boat, give it a couple jigs, wind it back up again. Really simple, easy technique. They will eat it more than likely on the drop, and if they don't eat it on the drop, it's very rare that they'll come up after you start flicking it to eat it. All right, let's move over to this next spot. So even on overcast, windy days like today, it is really nice to have 7 Seas Apparel backing me up with some really cool apparel to head out fishing. This jumper right here, I've actually had for quite a few years and it still looks brand new, hasn't faded. No stitching has broken or anything like that. It's a really durable, long-lasting hoodie. Along with that, underneath, I have the 7 Seas Apparel fishing jersey in case the sun comes out and it turns into a bit of a warmer day. I know I'm going to be sun protected using those fishing jerseys and also warm at the same time having this hoodie on. If you want to head over to 7 Seas Apparel, you can use code REALFISHING10 and save yourself 10% off anything in their store. Tackle, apparel, they have it all for you all. Head over to 7 Seas Apparel, let them know you're coming from the Real Fishing channel using the code REALFISHING10 to save yourself 10% off anything in their store. Oh no. First cast. I was cleaning my sunnies, they're on the ground now. good fish, whatever it is. Make sure that's ready. Good fish, man, whatever this is. I'm very quiet for a reason because it is a good fish. It whacked the plastic. It's a good fish. Come on, come up please. Come on, please be a good fish. Oh, it's a good snapper, bro. It's a real good snapper. Oh, this could be my personal best snapper. This could be my best snapper ever. First cast, new spot. Oh, oh. Oh man. It's a good fish. Very healthy fish. Wow. Equal with my best. Well, almost equal with my best. Have a look at that. Shallow water snapper off Sydney. Whoo! I thought that was a big king, bro. But it's a belter snapper. We're gonna put him in the net, gonna revive him as best as we can and put this belter of a snapper back right on this tide change. Tide changes, great for snapper. All right. So shout out to Adam Gilchrist by the Gills. He probably would never watch this, but I did a really cool podcast with him a couple of years back talking about catching snapper in shallow and stuff. And one, he told me I had to do a loop knot because snapper crush jig heads, like they crush them. I don't know if you guys can see the detail on this. Maybe I could put it up on screen, a couple of jig heads that have been crushed, but because it's so bumpy, I don't think you guys will see that. But they crush the actual jig head, like the lead head. And so tying a loop knot just gives you like, you have two lines of 20 pound there for them to rub their teeth on it. Because it's a loop knot, it's a bit looser. It won't necessarily, they won't chomp down on it and put pressure on the line for it to break. So loop knots, big one. From someone, Adam Gilchrist, by the Gills. If you've ever seen him on Instagram, he is a wizard catching snapper. So if he says tie loop knots, I'm tying loop knots. He walloped it. And like I was just saying before at the previous spot, you know, like fishing snapper on plastics is kind of like, you know, floating baits down a burley trail. You're just not floating them down a burley trail, you're sort of floating them while you're drifting. And using the lightest jig head you can, like I'm using 1/60 ounce for the longest time that I ever have in a session. I've used 1/4 ounce quite a lot. I started with 3/8 ounce when I first started fishing shallow water snapper. Got a few nice fish and I was like, right, I think I could go a bit lighter here. Went to a 1/4 ounce. I've been at a 1/4 ounce for probably a year. Never really thought a 1/60 ounce would work. Listened to a podcast of someone who does shallow water snapper out off Western Sydney, not Western Sydney, out of Western Australia, Salt Life. did a podcast, and he was talking about he uses 1/8 ounce, even 1/12 ounces on 20 to 30 meter water. So obviously very different, East Coast, West Coast, but I was like, all right, I can at least go to a 1/6 ounce jig head and try that out. Because if he's doing 1/8, 1/12, then surely here we should be able to do 1/6. And you know, I've caught 2 really nice snappers, some other really good fish. That rainbow runner was pretty cool. But yeah, another big one that I've got to my advantage right now. So similar to last episode, talking about location, as you saw, I started at a shallow reef off Sydney here early on, fished that, and I fished that quite methodically, started shallow and worked my way out deeper, because in the early morning, that's what you want to sort of do. You want to go nice and shallow, inside 20 meters, and then you work to that 25 to 20, 30 to 25, all those sort of areas. I did 3 or 4 drifts through there, caught that 1 snapper straight away, and there really wasn't much else after that. So straight away was like, right, going to my next spot. And when I got here, big thing about this one, this is a big gravel, expansive area that leads off from the edge of a reef. So I started knowing that I was going to drift the same direction that I did at the previous reef. Did a big wide berth around it. I wasn't going to sound up, I was just going to fish it straight away. So big wide berth around, and then line my drift up straight away. First cast, 70 centimeter one, like pretty good, man. What a fish, man. Like it's probably been 20 minutes since I caught it, and I'm still like shaking. Like the adrenaline rush that you get from catching a fish like that is just... All right, so we're heading up to the actual tide change, like the timed tide change. It's meant to be at 8:35, it's 8:36 right at the moment, so we're just past the actual time of that tide change. I would normally fish probably 20 minutes after the tide change, just to see if I can catch anything while that is happening, because yes, the lead up to the tide change is good, but I've also caught some nice, decent sized fish after that tide changed within half an hour. Tiny like a little amberjack or something. Pretty cool little fish. Sorry mate, that was a bit of a bad release. I went to throw him back in and he's wriggled right as I threw him. Plastic's starting to see better days, but that's okay. That can go on the wall of fame, that one. Give it one more cast. So I guess the question is sort of answered in this series. I thought I would be spending more episodes, but I will be. I'm gonna go test it out again. You can't just do one episode where there's no tide change and another episode where there was a tide change and I caught lots of fish on the tide change, and the other one where there was no tide change, I didn't catch fish. So I definitely think the question's not answered, okay? But it is answered to a point. It's answered probably 70%. It's not fully answered, because I think there are definite things that can say that it could be the tide change. It could be the moonset that happened this morning, and it could have been the sunrise that we had this morning. It's more than just no tide change doesn't mean no fish. There's definitely multiple factors in it, but if you have a tide change in it, that's definitely beneficial. Flatty! You know what that says? We're in the wrong spot. We're on the sand now. Yep, I do not want to touch you, mate. If you know flathead, and particularly blue spotters, little blue spotties, you do not want to get hit or pricked by one of their spines. It is painful. That wasn't meant to happen. He's down here, I'll pick him up. Come here, buddy. Come here, little fella. No. 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 No, no, no. See you, mate. Might seem like I'm being like a little bit of a softie, but trust me, you don't want to get spiked by them. The smaller, the more they hurt, I reckon. The smaller the flathead, the more that spike hurts. I'm gonna retie now. I'm gonna put a new jig head and a new plastic on, because this goes into the Wall of Fame. If you ever watch my fishing reports or podcast episodes that are coming out or have come out, the soft plastics that might be hung and the lures that are hung in the back of the podcast is sort of like my Wall of Fame. They're from like fish that I've caught, like lures or rods and reels that I've caught really cool fish on, and I want to keep them. So that one goes into a keeper. All right, what a session that was. Shallow water snapper off Sydney, regardless of whether you fish regularly off Sydney in the shallow reefs or anywhere up and down our coast, chasing snapper on these shallow reefs. I hope you all learned something from it. Specifically, that lighter jig head is a really key one for me today. I really has opened my eyes as to how light you really could go to target these fish inside those shallow water reefs. Hope you all enjoyed it. Leave a thumbs up if you did, subscribe, comment down below. Let me know what you think about using lighter jig heads, the setups, where do you go fishing for snapper, and any other tips that you might be able to share with our lovely community here at Real Fishing. And as always, we will see you next week for another fishing episode.